Good morning, this is Jim Scano with Firehouse Shirt Club. Welcome to our first Firehouse interview.
That's right, I'm Eric Daniels, Creative Director, and we are starting this as a pilot. And today we have with us Captain Rich Brown from the Boise Fire Department. We're gonna send him some questions and talk a little about this month's featured shirt.
Rich, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, how are you brothers? I'm doing well.
Great to have you on. We appreciate you being here. So Rich, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I work for the city of Boise, Idaho. Sounds like Boise. It's a pretty small area over here. We're growing. I work on Engine 10. I've been with the fire department just about, almost 28 years this year. So been a captain for the last 2.5 years. And have had a pretty exciting career over here. So started as a wildland nerd, chasing fires around in the dirt and up in the hills and forests and down in the lowlands and flats. So had a pretty dang good career for the last 32-ish years.
How many members do you have at your station and then at Boise, Idaho for as a whole?
Currently in the station that I'm at, we have one engine company 10. And we have just an easy rotation A, B, and C shift. So there's 9 of us in there. And we're part of local 149. And so our local is we're about 270 members. We have a pretty large recruit academy class going on right now. And then we have, of course, our administration and office staff. And so a little under 300 if you count all of those folks that work in there too. So,
and then what about Station 10 in particular? How many staff Station 10, and what's your shift schedule like?
So we're running 4896 over here, and we call it A, B, and C shift, and we just kind of rotate the 9 of us through there. Of course, there's we do some overtime, some overtime opportunities. Generally speaking, we try to keep crew cohesion as part of the station and staffing. So we'll try to pick somebody from either of those other shifts to staff that engine. Of course, that doesn't always happen, right? There's lots of brothers and sisters across the country that'll I hope listen and watch this. We all do it, and we all do it in our own little way. But for us, we do get folks that are not from those other 2 shifts and not in-house. And it's fine. I think we're a very, very close-knit group of firefighters. So we can get anybody in there and do a good job. Our training guys and gals do an amazing job. So,
well, with it being it's a single company house, correct? Just the engine, you say. Is there any type of special equipment on that engine that separates you from the others?
I wish I could say there was something that I think is really special. We staff an ambulance in our station, and I guess I should explain that a little bit better. So we have a county service that has ambulances, has EMTs, and has medics. We have medics on our engine as well. And that ambulance lives in our firehouse. So it's a totally separate agency. We get along really well with them. We work really well with them. And we run a boatload of calls with them. They run a lot of calls. There's less of them than there are of us. And so from that aspect, we don't have anything that I would call specialized in our station other than us. I mean, come on, we're special in our own ways, right? But we don't have a brush rig. We don't have a truck or a ladder. We don't have anything like that. I mean, we'll have firefighters that are on specialty teams, and that changes the dynamic a little bit. If we get something like hazmat call, I have a firefighter that's a hazmat team member. I have a paramedic that's my driver. So it changes the dynamics around there of what we do.
Speaking of calls, you had shared a story prior to this interview. You've got a pretty unique story yourself about a particular call. And I think that a lot of brothers and sisters out there would appreciate hearing your story, because it's really something that I think you were challenged with, and sounded like it was difficult for you to kind of get back into the service. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
So 2012, I was driving busy station downtown Boise, Idaho. It's our busiest house. We get banged out on a call, 2:30, 3 in the morning. Bars had all just closed. I remember the story very distinctly, right? I don't want to take you through every single step, but we get banged out, woke up, lights are on, out the door, down the pole. I mean, step by step, I could kind of visualize this and go through it. So what happens is we take a couple of turns, we hit Main Street, literally it's called Main Street, and we get to 14th Street, and I hit what I'm gonna call him a kid, mid-20s, riding a 120, 150 cc scooter. I hit him with the fire engine. I had the green light, he had the red. He blew a double DUI, which I think in Idaho is called excessive. So he was hammered. I thought I killed this person, and it very much scrambled me. I felt like I was one of those firefighters that in my career, I was like, yeah, I'll get through anything. I can get through anything. There's nothing that's going to throw me off. I mean, we all go on difficult and terrible calls at times, but it really threw me off. I didn't want to drive my car. I didn't want to drive my truck. I didn't want to drive a fire apparatus. I had a bunch of brothers and sisters on the peer team, and I ended up eventually seeing a counselor. Took me a few months. EMDR treatment was amazing for me. The actual ability for me to process this in my brain and file it away, that experience, and have a better understanding of what really happened and not blame myself, because immediately I was like, well, I messed up. I made a mistake. I'm a firefighter. We don't mess up. We don't make mistakes. We don't hurt people. And I 100% blamed myself, even though I knew, like, I could sit and have the conversation with you guys just like I'm having now and go, well, yeah, I know I had a green light, and I know this guy was blowing the red, blowing double DUI, but even with actual facts, I could not wrap my head around it. So it took me a while. Probably a year into this, I really sort of came to this point where I was like, wow, I was on my way to like leaving this job. It scrambled me so badly. This feeling that every time I got in the engine, I'm going to hurt somebody. Why am I driving this engine? I'm going to hurt somebody. I got through it. And it was very much because I have an incredibly supportive group of super close circle of friends, buddies that are firefighters, a few buddies that aren't firefighters. My wife's pretty damned amazing. I'm going to say that. Kelly is awesome. She was stellar support through this, but what that has led me through since 2012 is we created a peer team after that. It wasn't because of my accident. It was because of a lot of other things, things that have been happening in our careers. As you brothers and sisters out there understand, there's a better focus, I think, now on mental health. So we start this peer team. We're talking to brothers and sisters, and somewhere around 2016, 17, I was like, man, I don't know enough. Right. And context for that is I felt like I was talking to brothers and sisters about stuff that I was like, how do I help more? Kind of like taking a first aid class versus an EMT class versus paramedicine, to put it in that context. And I decided I'm going to go back to school. And so I put all my eggs in one basket and applied for a graduate program, got a master's degree in counseling. I finished that up May of 21. I started in 18. So the process is kind of like getting on a fire department. You apply this year, maybe you'll start next year if you can get through all the rigmarole. Right. Took me 3 years. I became a licensed counselor, so an LPC, July of 2021. I now work for a guy named Rob Hilvers. So if there's brothers and sisters out there across the country that want to know what this thing is like, he opened a business called Emergency Responder Health Center. And we serve first responders and our families, police, fire, EMS. And that's now navigated to where we're helping folks from outside agencies that are fire agencies, law enforcement agencies. So maybe from the federal side, if you will. And so BLM, Forest Service, BIA, National Park Service, there's brothers and sisters that are out there that are in those jobs that are seeing us for healthcare and mental health care. So he's got 2 clinics that are open, and it's been awesome. I honestly think that the peer team, to step way back to 2012, I think the peer team and the counselor helped personally and professionally save my job and to get me re-engaged and get me reinvigorated to feel like I was that young person that I had started out as, trapped sort of in the middle-aged guy's body when this happened. And I got re-engaged with the job. I feel like, you guys have sent me a list of questions. One of the things is like, what do you tell your younger self? Well, I would tell my younger self to find something that you love in the job, find something you love outside the job. And by that, I mean, become educated in the job, find a craft in the job, work on the skills in the job, find something you like that's going to give you satisfaction outside the job. And I don't just mean go find yourself a partner. That's part of it too, but go find something you love, something that you do that's off the job. I don't care if that's working it out, being a CrossFitter, being a marathon runner, being a bodybuilder, whatever, racing cars, helping your local, helping your community, doing things, stepping up with the MDA, stepping up with Leukemia Lymphoma Society, whatever it is that's in your community, in your fire department or your local, find something you love inside and outside the job, because that's going to give you some fulfillment, meaning, purpose in life, and drive to do things to help other people.
Yeah, Rich, that's really great advice. I mean, what a remarkable story, honestly. I mean, these questions are kind of terrible. I mean, because you had such a great story that, some of these are so small they feel like. For you to, I think it's amazing that you were able to take something, and really a testament to you, Rich, is you were able to take something that could have taken other firefighters off the rails and turn it around. And not only were you able to sort of, quote, save yourself, but now you're doing something to where you're taking what was a terrible incident for yourself and actually helping others. I think that's actually amazing. Would you say that you taking the extra step, not only getting help for yourself, but taking the extra step and going and learning more about, counseling and becoming a counselor yourself, would you say that actually helped you in your getting, further past your incident?
It has. It's helped me sort of find some different depth and being able to process that. The other thing it's done is, you all out there, I hope you feel this, but like we feel driven and we feel like we have purpose in jobs. Even people that are outside of public service, outside of emergency services, out of fire service, if you will, jobs give us purpose and meaning in our lives. And I felt like that purpose or meaning in my life had been broken in some way. I felt broken in some way.
Sure.
And so that I think has really helped me to get through that, but it's also helped me in my career. I really attribute a lot of that, you guys, to my brothers and sisters that were on the job, but we knew a lot less in 2012 than we know now. It's surprising to me, but we're swinging the pendulum real slowly with mental health. Right. And, but quite frankly, when I started, in the 90s, I had a captain that said, "Hey kid, don't tell me about your stuff." He used a different word. Y'all can insert it in there. "Don't tell me about your stuff. I got enough of my own stuff to deal with." Honestly, that fella turned out to be one of the most loving, caring, kind, compassionate guys. He just was full that day. He was full of whatever was going on in his life, professionally and personally. And he was a guy that I actually was able to go to and talk to about stuff that was hard and difficult to deal with. We see death on a regular basis in this job.
Yeah.
And I know, Jim, I know that's a long answer to what you asked me, but I also feel like this has helped me professionally on the job, because we go on people that are having a hellaciously bad day sometimes, and you got to sometimes sit down on the floor with them and just be able to level with them and ask them, what's going on? How can we help you? You got an engine company here and an ambulance here. What's going on? How do I help you? Because sometimes we don't know unless they give us an answer. Tell us what's going on. How do we help you through what you got going on? So
I agree. Yeah, that's amazing. We can't wait to get what you just said out to all of our audience, and especially the fire service. I mean, just you saying that is going to relate to someone.
Totally. Yeah.
So
That's in the counseling world, that's called normalizing, brothers. We're normalizing that all of us, all of us have this stuff going on in our lives, personally and professionally, and it's okay. I know nobody wants to drag stuff out and tell people about what's going on with them. Sometimes when you walk in the station in the morning and you grab a cup of coffee, right? Me and Ed here, we grab our cup of coffee and we sit at the table and we talk, and it's like, man, but hey, what's going on, Ed? What's the best part of your week? Well, let me tell you, Rich, this is the best part of my week. I did this thing, part of my family, whatever. What else is going on? We help each other get through stuff, and we find that we're not the only ones that are dealing with what we think is, I'm the only person on the planet that's dealing with it, right? It doesn't mean any of us are going to have any of these problems either, right? I have brothers and sisters that come to me and go, hey, you're telling us we're all going to be screwed up. No, I'm not telling you we're all going to be screwed up. And if you find yourself in a spot where you think you're screwed up, go talk to somebody, get some help, talk to your best friend about it, talk to your loved one about it, the person you're married to or you're dating, or somebody that you seek out on your peer team, or somebody, if you feel like you need a professional, then go see a professional.
Yeah.
Like that's why we do these jobs.
Yeah, it's not like you have to go into the fire station and put on the bulletin board what your problems are. And that's, I think, what slows people down. It's find that one guy, that one anchor, that one lady that you met in the fire service, either at your fire department or at another fire department during your training. Maybe it was an instructor that you looked up to. Whatever it is, reach out, find that person that's sort of your anchor, and start with that. And if you don't have anybody, then yes, absolutely, reach out, get some professional help.
Yeah, it's awesome. It gives us an opportunity to serve the people that we're standing shoulder to shoulder with.
For sure.
Well, Rich, thank you for that. On a lighter note, we wanted to kind of ask you on a station level, and I know you said sitting around drinking coffee. I bet that's a highlight of your day, but we want to kind of delve down into the important thing is, what's your favorite station meal and your favorite movie to watch at the Firehouse? Okay.
All right. I'm a super nerd, so I don't know that I have one favorite movie. If you were to come to my Firehouse, brothers, let me just tell you, this is a special meal we make with my crew. It came from a captain that I worked for and a brother that I started out with in 1995, a guy named Earl Swope. You guys ought to interview that dude. He survived an ice diving accident. They pulled him out from under the ice. And we're like, hey, he's not breathing. So there's another guy you want to talk to. So Earl would make this meal. It was a special meal. It is called chimichurri. It's a bunch of spices and a little bit of heat, and it's amazing. Well, he would take this and we would make chimichurri. We'd roast up some veggies, smoke them, roast them on the grill outside. Made these homemade flatbreads that are the easiest thing on the planet. They're so good and so tasty. And then we make some kind of like Mediterranean style salad that goes with it. I will make this if I get a probationary firefighter that comes through the house and we get them on their rotation. We'll get them for 6 weeks at a shot. If they do a really good job, it's one of the meals we'll make them at the end of their 6 weeks.
You're giving it away. Now the new rookie coming in knows, if he cooks me the chimichurri flatbreads, I'm in.
That's right. And if he's not getting the chimichurri, he knows he's got some work to do.
Yep. I tell each of them, I'll tell them that, I mean, we have high expectations and we want people to succeed. And I feel like us sitting at the table and breaking bread with each other, that is something that I love about this job. I think it's something about this job I've always loved. It makes me cringe when I see crews that don't eat together. I just don't get it. I'm sure there's brothers and sisters out there that are like, I don't get you guys that want to sit down and eat food with each other. It's part of it's a deeply held belief with me that you eat together, you sit together, you talk to your crew, you find out what's going on with their life and see how they're doing.
So thanks again, Rich. We appreciate you coming on and being interviewed today. And Firehouse Shirt Club members, for those of you who want a sneak preview, this is the station shirt that we're going to be featuring this month. There's a picture of it. Rich, can you just give us a real quick or a real brief rundown of where did this design come from?
The West Side Dime, Engine 10, Boise, Idaho. We're on McMillan and Cloverdale, so that's where the Clover came from. It's Irish named streets in the area predominantly, and so we picked the colors and we rolled with it. Had this beautiful design done, so yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much for that, Rich. Thank you guys, Firehouse Shirt Club members and all of our followers. Thanks again. Let us know what you think about this interview in the comments. If you have any suggestions on what we should call it or any other questions you want us to ask in our next interview, let us know in the comments. We would appreciate it. We'll see y'all next month.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Thank you.